shot, for one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment. Did you capture it, or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter, he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stacked that he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go back to this moment and hope it don't pass him.
Listen, we can talk about the flag, but let's talk about the team. Wait.
All right, everybody, we are live, trending in the AM, right here on DSM Media, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know, like, share, retweet, comment. If you want to get involved in the program, head over to the DSM Media YouTube page. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you hit the like and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. We're now up to 604, baby steps. We're getting every day one step closer to 700, 800 to 1,000. We will be there before you know it. We got lots to talk about today on Trending in the AM. Football is back. That is right, my friend. That is what we're talking. That's what we're starting to show off today with our main thread today. Yesterday, we talked a lot about Jalen Hurts. But today, I want to tackle an idea, a thought process that it seems like everyone's talking about. The pressure is on Jalen Hurts. Well, I think there's just as much pressure on Nick Sirianni, Jonathon Gannon, Sean Steichen, the entire coaching staff, and it's not really being talked about. And I really want to dive into that to start the show. We will talk Phillies as well as we get later into the show. I am Phil Stifle, your host. Make sure you shoot me a follow at Beard of Knowledge. We got intern Cole PT628 on Twitter, and we got Jason Voorhees, Mustang3651 down below. Good morning, gentlemen. And are you ready to talk coaches?
Oh, yeah. I'm so ready to talk coaches.
Jason,
Cole is ready to jump out of his seat.
Oh, yeah. Tough morning for me. Tough morning for me.
Every morning's tough for a 20-year-old kid. I get it. But it's football season, Cole. You should be so easy. Like when my alarm goes off like 2 weeks ago and I knew I had to talk Phillies again and again. I was like, oh. But I'm excited when my alarm goes off right now because that means I get to come on here and talk football this week. Every day. Tomorrow, we're going to talk practice. Yeah. Practice.
Yeah, I'll be excited when there's something going on. There's nothing going on right now.
There is something going on. And I think
today.
Today
there's something going on.
Day of practice. And we're going to be, all of us, I'm sure every Eagles fan is going to be following Chris Franklin and all the beat reporters all day long today, tracking every single thing that happens at practice. And we'll get into it tomorrow. But coaches, guys, Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, Jonathon Gannon last year, there was no pressure on this coaching staff. They came in, new kids on the block, very little expectations. And let's be honest, the entire Eagles season last year exceeded expectations. And this year, they're all kind of, I don't want to say they're getting an easy pass right now, but I don't think a lot of people are talking about there should be some pressure on these guys. Nick Sirianni has to exceed last year. Shane Steichen will be the play caller the entire season. Jonathon Gannon, everybody was stunned that he had multiple head coaching interviews. Now that the microscope is going to be on him more. We can't just have these coaches come to practice and, you know, I joked a lot last year about Nick Sirianni's T-shirt selection every single day and T-shirt gate, I called it. And we battled me and Scooter, you know, on Twitter and on a couple podcasts about it, that he cared more about appeasing the players and the fans than actually coaching. Look, it all ended up working out pretty well. And all the pressure seems to be Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts fails, if this team fails this year, should we not be putting some of the blame and some of the pressure for that on this coaching staff? Because in my opinion, this team goes as Jalen Hurts goes, but this team goes as Nick Sirianni goes. And I think it's very important that people keep a microscope on them this camp, because they're not the new kids on the block anymore. There has to be some accountability every day on these guys. Jason, what are your thoughts there?
I mean, I absolutely agree 100% with your premise. I feel that as a whole, the Eagles coaching staff does have, a lot of pressure to improve. And, obviously everybody's focused on Jalen Hurts, the new offensive weapon, in A.J. Brown that's come to the team. In my opinion, I think the more important progression I need to see is the Eagles defense. And I think that is the key to whether this team is going to actually really contend or not. Last year, you looked at the Eagles defense. They were kind of middle of the pack. They were ranked 18th in points given up, pretty much in the middle in yardage. Obviously, we know about the sacks. They were 31st out of 32 teams, which is horrible. So I'm looking for the defense, under Rich Gannon to absolutely improve. They have to. They went out, they got James Bradbury at cornerback. So now you have two decent cornerbacks. They went out and they drafted a truck, a bus for the middle of your line in Jordan Davis, which I know a lot of people were not sold on. But, I mean, if the guy is healthy and they use the rotation, he should be able to do some damage. You went out, you fixed your linebacking core. You drafted Nakobe Dean. I know some people are still not totally on board with that. They think, oh, there had to be some reason the guy dropped. Well, maybe, just maybe, the Eagles finally got a gem and something went right. I'm hoping. That's what we all hope. But the key is that they went out and got better players for Jonathon Gannon. So to me, you talk about Jalen Hurts having no excuse now. Well, I don't think Jonathon Gannon has an excuse. This team needs to move up in the defensive rankings. I'm not looking for them to be an elite defense, but they definitely need to be in the top 10.
Yeah,
And
well, I think there's an argument to be said that there is talent on this team enough on defense that they should be top 10. Now, Cole, I want you to jump right in on this Jonathon Gannon talk, and here's what I'm going to say. Is there pressure on Jonathon Gannon because there's more weapons here? Is there more pressure on him because people were stunned that he was interviewed for multiple head coaching openings? Or is it 50-50 both? I mean, there's got to be a massive amount of pressure on Jonathon Gannon this camp and this season coming up here.
Absolutely. There has to be pressure on Jonathon Gannon. You got head coaching interviews. There were multiple NFL teams that thought you could be a candidate to run their team. So there absolutely has to be pressure on him just on that standpoint alone, because if he does if he does at least what he did last year, apparently he's going to get more interviews at the end of the season. So there's that pressure, but there's also the pressure. The defense is a lot better than it was last year. You have more talent around to play with. You have a more complete defense to play with. You have a lot of young pieces that you need to build up as well. So there absolutely is pressure on Jonathon Gannon to not only make sure that this defense performs, but develops.
Yeah, I think that's you bring up an excellent point, because there is a lot of young. You got Nakobe Dean, you got Jordan Davis, you still got Marcus Epps / Kayvon Wallace / the 19 other cornerbacks that have been picked up in the last 2 months.
I was talking about like more Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis.
I know, but there's young talent all over this or young players all over this defense, and you got to develop them. Milton Williams, what's going to happen with his development? Josh Sweat kind of sort of hit a wall last year and then had some injury and health issues. There is young talent on this defense, and if they don't take a step forward, I know George said if Hurts doesn't perform, it's not on the coaches, it's on him. But if these young guys don't develop, normally development of young players, it starts with the player themselves wanting to develop, but the coach has got to, help that along. The coach has got to instill something there. But I think it comes down to Jonathon Gannon, whether we like it or not. There's a 95% chance, Jason, in my opinion, this is Jonathon Gannon's last year in Philly. Because either A, we have a top 3 or 4 defense, and he gets that head coaching job, or B, we're still a 17th ranked defense, and he's shown the door. You know what I mean? I think there's not much middle ground for Jonathon Gannon this year. So we're really going to see whether Jonathon Gannon is a really good coach or not now that he's got the talent.
I mean, absolutely. I don't think you can deny that there's more talent, but to Cole's point, a lot of that talent is young. So not necessarily looking for the team to have leaps and bounds improvement, but you want to see the growth. You want to see the development.
Mhm.
That's the sign of a good coaching staff. When your young guys can take that step forward, and it's not like I said, everyone's focused on Jalen Hurts, which obviously he's the quarterback. That's
Quarterback will
quarterback-driven league.
Whether you're Tom Brady or Josh Rosen, all the focus and eyes are always on the quarterback. So that is understandable.
Oh yeah, because so many people are focused on Josh Rosen.
Hey, I think he just had a chance to make another team.
Yeah,
Josh
he's
Rosen
going to be
made more money.
he's going to be the backup on the Browns.
You know what? That's a great
string.
job. That's a couple $1 million to not even dress on Sunday.
I get it, but I mean, I
love that
I
job.
wouldn't say, yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
Now,
Let's be the first quarterback on a football team, you know?
No, I think that's crazy that Josh Rosen still has a job. But anyway, getting back to the point, I honestly believe like it's crazy that we signed Hassan Reddick and I've not heard anybody even talk about that throughout this offseason. I heard about it for like 1 week, and then everyone's just like, it's almost like a forgotten thing. But Hassan Reddick was the #1 pass rusher available in this year's free agency. There's something to be said that we went out and got that. We obviously looked at what we did last year as a team as far as sacks. And I know it's not just about sacks. I know sacks kind of sometimes are overrated, just like a lot of these younger generation says that average is, overrated in baseball. I get it. But yes, you have to start getting home on your pressures.
So it's going to come down to, Jason, Jonathon Gannon, because you've got Reddick, who technically is a weak side, outside linebacker, whatever. You got him. You got Brandon Graham. You got Josh Sweat. You've got Derek Barnett still. You've got Hargrave, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams. You got about 9 guys, and I'm going to be focused in camp what the pairings are, and then come first couple weeks of the season, what he does with that rotation, because you got that mix of youth and veteran talent there, and how he handles rotating. Does one guy get a heavier snap load than the other? Does he burn out some of the older guys, too soon? Jonathon Gannon has to have the pressure on him to properly manage, because we know it's going to be Bradbury, Maddox, and Slay out there, barring any injuries, on every single play in your defensive backfield. What he does with that rotation is going to be super crucial.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have the rotation in the secondary, but you also have the rotation at linebacker. I mean, right now I'm looking at the defensive depth chart. You got Hassan Reddick at linebacker. You got TJ Edwards at middle linebacker, and you have Kazir White at the weak side. So obviously, is Nakobe Dean? I'm actually interested in how are they going to use Nakobe Dean in this preseason, because I know generally like he has the talent to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously with the draft, there was those injury concerns, and, obviously they talked about, why he might have dropped. Are they going to kind of go away from the fact that they don't generally play their starters? Mm-hmm. Or are they going to say, well, this guy, we need to see what he can show, before the season and make our decision whether he is going to be the starter? Mm-hmm. I mean, these are all kinds of questions that I'm looking to be answered.
So Cole, this is what I'm thinking, because I know George is saying it, and I know a lot of people are thinking a confusion on what Reddick's role is really going to be. He's listed as a linebacker. He's really a pass rusher. First off, if I see game 1 or even in a preseason game or even video from camp, Hassan Reddick dropping back in coverage, then I'm going to start criticizing Jonathon Gannon right away. But I see a lot of a very unique 5-2-3-1 type of defense. You're going to have 5 down linemen. Then you're going to have Edwards and Kazir White as your quote-unquote linebackers. And you're going to have your 3 cornerbacks, Maddox, Slay, Bradbury. And you probably only have 1 safety out there then at that point. That's what that's how I would have my base defense. But you're going to see a lot of weird looks because of this defense, Cole. Do you agree with that, or any thoughts on how they're going to line this defense up?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a mixture of things. I think you're gonna see times where Hassan Reddick drops back in coverage. I think there will be times that happens, whether we like it or not, just because they have him listed as a linebacker. So there is going to be times, but his main role will be pass rushing. Mm-hmm. It will be pass rushing, and we're gonna see a lot. We're gonna see a lot of different looks from the Jonathon Gannon and Nick Sirianni on defense. A lot of different styles, a lot of different combinations of guys and schemes and stuff like that we haven't seen as much in years past.
Okay, sorry, I thought you were still going on.
No,
there.
I was done.
I'm kind of as we talk this out, I'm kind of getting a little fearful here because we have on talent, just naming the players. We've got a lot of talent on this defense, but I'm thinking the last 15, 20 minutes of this show is going to be talking Phillies, and the Phillies, they loaded up on corner, DH, outfield power hitters, and then nothing else. This defense is loaded up on defensive line and certain positions, but then we still have, holes in our secondary because, I mean, let's be honest, our safeties are not really that great at this point. Kazir White, we're trying to hype him up. Nakobe Dean, we're trying to get pumped there. There's still some question marks on those guys. Did we load up too much at one position and not balance out this defense well enough? Because I don't know. It just that literally just came into my head the last 30 seconds, that thought process, Jason. Or Cole, go ahead.
I would say that corner's fine. I like the way the corners are. I would say that the only position we're really lacking is safety. So I wouldn't say we loaded up. I wouldn't compare it to the Phillies. The Phillies was a very extreme load up. It was very extreme load up. And it's working out, but it's not at the same time. There's games where it works out. There's games where it doesn't. But for the Eagles, they had a lot of pieces already in place, and they added guys around. They added the best available that they could. They got the best, in my opinion, the best available corner in James Bradbury, best linebacker in the draft in Nakobe Dean, the best defensive tackle in the draft in Jordan, or not, I wouldn't say the best defensive tackle in the draft. One of the best defensive tackles in the draft in Jordan Davis. They brought in the best edge rusher in free agency in Hassan Reddick. So I wouldn't say they loaded up at linebacker and defensive line and just ignored the secondary. Safety, there wasn't as many guys as we would have liked. I mean, there was Tyrann Mathieu, but he ended up with the Saints. I mean, there's still an off chance of us getting Jesse Bates. So I wouldn't say that they loaded up the way the Phillies did.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Jason, thoughts on that real quick?
I mean, they still reportedly have $9 million under the cap. And I heard something yesterday. You had brought up on the show. You were talking about Javon Hargrave and how you had heard some reports going around about him, possibly being a guy that they could look to move. I don't know what Cincinnati's position is as far as their defensive line. I know that, they have good defensive ends. I don't know if they could use another tackle, but maybe you could see a swap there because of the money type thing.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's something that they're looking at, but the bottom line is, listen, I'm not super high on Marcus Epps or Anthony Harris, but they're not like garbage. It's not like we're throwing guys out there that can't play.
I mean, they're not garbage, but they're not much better than garbage.
But I've talked about it that your safety, you can hide safety play when your linebackers are better and when your corners are better. And to your point, if they're going to play a lot of these other formations where they're not even using two safeties, then why is it even as important as you're making it sound? Because our linebackers right now are probably if Nakobe Dean becomes a superstar, then our linebackers are probably better than they've been since we had Jeremiah Trotter, which is 15 years ago.
That's a big if because, again, Nakobe Dean's situation is one of the situations that we're going to be paying close attention to this camp. Because is he injured? Is he playable? Is he not? How much of a leadership role is he going to take on? Because that's who he is. He's a leader, on defenses that he plays on. I'll be really curious to see, what he looks like in camp because, there's half of my side in my brain that says we might not see Nakobe Dean regularly on the field till week 6, 7, 8, just because he's going to have to earn that and prove that he's healthy. There's another side of my brain that saw him in college and be like, this guy's going to be starting day one and dominating on defense. So we really have to see what kind of role they're going to give Nakobe Dean if he's healthy, and if he's not healthy, how long it'll take for him to be 100% healthy.
But I also think there's a lot to be said. If your pass rush improves leaps and bounds over what it was last year, that will help kind of hide the deficiency that you'll have as well in the secondary. Because when you're getting home on your pass rush, you don't need your secondary to be superstars. You don't.
I mean, I will agree with KC. He does say quarterback depth is a bit ugly.
Yeah.
And Howie Roseman has brought in literally like 100, undrafted free agents, 7th round cornerbacks in the last 2 minutes. And man, do we really want Tay Gowan or Mac McClain or whatever his name?
I like Zach McPherson though. I think
who is the guy the other year who was guarding DeAndre Hopkins when we played the Cardinals and did insanely well? He used to sell tires.
Was that Strap? What was Strap's nick? Strap was his nickname. What was his real name? Big Strap. I don't know, but yeah, I know you're talking about. Look, cornerback depth. If one of those big guys go down, I mean,
Michael Jaquette.
Jaquette, yeah, no,
Yeah.
He was not. That was not Strap. That was not Strap. But yeah, maybe Jaquette was the one that did it. Look, I think we can all agree there's some question marks, and it's going to come down to Jonathon Gannon. Yeah, Jaquette is who we're talking about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But LeBlanc was Strap. That the guy I'm thinking of was LeBlanc. So another guy. Oh, he had Jaquette on his show. Hey, good for you. Awesome. Way to brag on my show.
Yeah, why don't you just send Jaquette our way and get him on our show then?
Yeah, exactly. We have to pair up for one of those interviews. All right, I want to move over to the offensive side on Jonathon Gannon or on Nick Sirianni and on Shane Steichen. And Jason, in the pre-show comments, you put in a comment. Let me pull it up here. Where is all the way at the top? Hot take: the Eagles will feature the run more in the beginning of the season than last year. I actually think that would be very interesting because we're all looking for Jalen Hurts to come out throwing. We're all looking for Jalen Hurts to, see if he could take that next step. Is it up to the coaches to maybe just, we've got a weaker start to the schedule, maybe not put all the pressure on Jalen Hurts right away to have to throw 30 times a game? Is there a thought process that might be the best way to set this? Coaches' jobs are to set teams up for success. The cheesy, got to put my players in the right positions line that Andy Reid used to use. Is that why you're saying that, Jason, in the comments, or are you just saying it because of other reasons?
No, it's exactly why I'm saying it. I think you learn from mistakes. And I think if you looked at last year's Eagles team, in the beginning, they tried to just throw Hurts out there and let him throw it 40 times. And it didn't work. It backfired, and you had to go to the run. Mm-hmm. So why not just start out with what you know works and kind of let Hurts get comfortable into his role where you're going to let him kind of loose? Mm-hmm. I think that makes more sense to me, because if you come out that way, especially early in the season, and you kind of, I don't want to say make it vanilla, but kind of run it where it's more of a run based, but you let Hurts start showing that he can, improve, and that he has improved through what he's done in this offseason. I think he'll feel more comfortable, and he'll be more confident in the ability to come out, as opposed to just throwing him out there on an island again and saying, chuck the ball 40 times. We got A.J. Brown. We're good. Because that's where you could run into some issues. If he starts throwing some bad picks and they lose a game or two, all of a sudden, now the pressure's on, and this town will be fighting, and there'll be people calling for Gardner Minshew at their week 1 loss. You know that, Phil. We've been through
we sidetrack for 1 second. Dude, can we, as Team DSM, pitch in to buy Gardner Minshew's bus? Dude, that is if I was in college and had that bus, man, the creepy looks girls would have given me, man. But Gardner Minshew does it, and he's the hottest thing in the world.
Yeah,
where's the difference there?
Phil, when you have the swagger of Gardner Minshew, then you can do that. It's all about
swagger. I had the swagger, but nobody bought it.
Can you believe this guy?
Yeah. You talking to the ghost in the background there?
Yeah. The live audience.
Yeah. Look, the live audience. I like that. Dude, I had a high top conversion van in college. TV.
What's that? What is a high top conversion van?
Google search it. It's a van that's got like a mini apartment in it. Has a little miniature TV. The back couch turns into a bed. Has a cooler for a fridge in it. VCR. You could hook up your Nintendo to it. I'd take that to parties, park that outside.
Were you a member of the Grateful Dead?
I was not. No. I would take it on all my Dave Matthews concerts and park outside. That'll explain everything right there.
My God, that's all you had to say.
Like Gardner Minshew, man, that bus, I love it. I love that video that he put out. The swagger of him and everything. It's insane. But back to your point, Jason. I think what you're saying is a pretty strong theory. But then, yeah, exactly, George. How can you not root for Minshew too? I mean, the guy's got, dude. Again, to get back on Minshew, when he had that moment after his win last year with his dad, after the joking part of it, then they embraced and the hug and the smile. How you cannot root for that guy? He's not.
I root for both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Jalen Hurts is a starter right now, and rightfully so.
Exactly. I get all that, but I think what you're saying, Jason, in theory, is right. But then to bring up the other aspect of it, there's a lot of people out there in the Eagles front office, fan bases that want to see the passing game. That's where the NFL goes.
It's impatience.
I know, but if you have to, there will be the people that say in the front office, in the media, everywhere, fan base, that if you have to baby Jalen Hurts, then he is not the guy.
I don't consider it babying by using what you did right and what you had success with. If you have a good running game and you have a great offensive line, number one in football, why not run the ball? I mean, in a day and age where, yes, it has become a passing game, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to do that. If you don't have a Justin Herbert or a Pat Mahomes, then utilize what you have to the best of your abilities. And I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts shouldn't have his training wheels taken off. But what I am saying is early in the season, you don't need to have a rehash of last year. We saw what happened when they tried that.
Okay, so maybe, you're using the training wheels. Remember when you'd have your training wheels on and then you're starting to get comfortable and your dad took off one training wheel, so you had a little bit, you can lean to the left if you're falling to save yourself, but you had a little bit of a, less of a cushion there. Maybe you do something like that. I don't know. I just don't think the fan base, the front office, there's going to be so many people. I get what you're saying, Jason, and I agree with what you're saying. But there's going to be enough people that say no, that's not what's going to happen.
And those same people, if it doesn't happen and Jalen does come out and struggle, are going to be calling for Gardner Minshew. And that's what's frustrating. It's frustrating to me that people would rather see a quarterback controversy than the Eagles win. Because I think their best chance to win is to play a balanced attack. I'm not saying don't run past the ball. I mean, but if you don't have superstar at quarterback, why would you want to just try something that is going to fail? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way.
All right, Cole. The way, because I'm trying to stay focused on the coaches here and not Jalen Hurts specifically. If Jalen Hurts comes out this year, whether he's passing a lot or not, and we don't see any growth from Jalen Hurts, he is just exactly who he is last year, which I still think last year's Jalen Hurts with the bigger weapons, I still think we're a better team anyway. So, and a better defense. So that's beside the point. If Jalen Hurts looks exactly the same quarterback this year, why is it only on Jalen Hurts? Can we not say that maybe Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen have failed as coaches? Because all his deficiencies are coachable deficiencies. And learning how to read from the pocket, that is a coachable trait right there. Why is it all on Jalen Hurts and not on the coaches that he doesn't get better?
I wouldn't say it's all on. I wouldn't say they failed as coaches, but I also wouldn't say it's all on Jalen Hurts. I would say it's a mixture of both. I mean, at the same time, Jalen Hurts, he's got every chance in the world to improve and get better. And we know I'm probably the biggest Jalen Hurts guy ever. I love Jalen Hurts.
So do I.
But he's going to have had his chances to improve. He had the end of 2 seasons ago. He had this full season, and now we had a full off season to prepare. We got him the weapons. So, but there always will be a little bit on the coaches for not developing, especially with a guy young like Jalen Hurts. Yeah, there will be a little bit to blame on the coaches, but not at the same level that the blame will go to Jalen Hurts.
I think KC brings up a very interesting point and theory here. The problem with the way we're talking about wanting to do it is, do you peak as a Baltimore type team? Because basically the formula we're talking about, to an extent, is basically what Baltimore does with Lamar Jackson. And let's be honest, Baltimore's not going to win a Super Bowl with the way they do things there. Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, and running the ball. Now, Baltimore does not have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Their best receiver they've had outside of Mark Andrews the last couple of years was Marquise Brown, and he's gone. I don't even know who their top wide receiver target is projected to be.
Rashad Bateman.
Is Bateman the number one guy there now? And he had like 30 catches last year. So
yeah, but he was hurt for most of the season.
Well, I gotta be honest with you. I hope Lamar Jackson comes out and wins a Super Bowl because I get so sick of people that put the guy down. Like Lamar Jackson is one of the most talented athletes I've ever watched. He's a Randall Cunningham too.
All right, he's better than Randall Cunningham.
Well, yeah. I mean,
there's no argument there. Lamar Jackson.
Randall Cunningham had a rocket on an arm. I don't know.
Lamar Jackson gets a lot of hate, Phil. And listen, I know that you're not a big Lamar Jackson fan, but
I love him for fantasy purposes. I just don't know.
We're not talking about fantasy purposes. Do you just forget what he did a couple years back? He had 36 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions, and he ran for 1,000 yards. I mean, who's done that?
No, I'm just talking about Lamar Jackson from last season. They were 8-3. He was an MVP candidate. He goes down and they go 0-6. There's a correlation there. Lamar Jackson, for some reason, has slowly becoming the most underrated quarterback in the league and maybe even player. It's just ridiculous. And I don't agree with Jason much, but we're agreeing here.
Thanks, Cole.
So Casey's point is okay, and again, this intrigues me too in a bit. The Lamar Jackson style, Jalen Hurts style, it's amazing, it's fun, whatever, but it's not made to come from behind if you can't pass the ball. Now I know what you're saying about a few years ago with him.
Wait. It's not made to come from behind. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts aren't made, like, their play style's not made to come from behind.
Because what the theory is, if you're behind 38-7, you've got to be able to stick.
Did you not watch the Chiefs game on Sunday Night Football last year or the Colts game on Monday Night Football last year? Those were two major comebacks. Yeah. That's what the Ravens did last year in their wins, was they came back. That's literally what he was doing last year.
I'm just dictating the questions to you guys here.
I understand, but it's literally he did the exact opposite of what's being said.
All right, let's stop. The questions and comments are getting us off track. As Joe said, I don't want to talk about Jalen Hurts till week 1 because everybody hates him already enough. I'm trying to stick to the coaches here. If Jalen Hurts is only going to be what he is, why can't we blame the coaches, not completely, but partially for that?
Well, that's why I was saying that I could see a scenario where they do come out and run the ball.
What topic I bring up, we all end up back talking about Jalen Hurts every single time.
Because last year, you saw what happened when they just tried to throw the ball. Now, granted, they didn't have A.J. Brown last year. So maybe I could be off base here. Maybe they're going to come out, dude, and like fire it and sling it. And Jalen will show that he has improved. I don't know. All I'm saying is you're talking about the coaching. So my thought process behind it was I'm looking at the coaches to adapt to their mistakes and what they did last year, early in the year. Nick Sirianni, if you don't forget, in case you don't forget, we almost wanted him out of here in week 3. After week 3, people were like, Nick Sirianni sucks. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
That was kind of the point of this whole show to start with. Look, there was no expectation. We didn't know who Nick Sirianni was last year. He was kind of this. We wanted Josh McDaniels. We wanted Brian Daboll. We wanted all these other guys as our head coach. And I don't know where Nick Sirianni sweeps in, has a great interview, and becomes the head coach.
I was fine. I don't know. I was fine with Nick Sirianni in the beginning. I wasn't going to like hiring Josh McCown or Josh McDaniel. Sorry, my allergies. I wasn't okay with hiring Josh McDaniel. A, Patriots assistants almost never work out. And B, I think he's a total bozo of a head coach. I think we're going to see that.
Yeah, I think so too.
But for the standpoint on Brian Daboll, I'm going to get back to this Lamar Jackson thing. I have to at some point. We'll get back to that.
Just so you know, Cole, tomorrow, I don't have to work after the show. so the show doesn't have to get cut off at 1 hour. We can talk for 30 hours straight about that.
All right. Well, George and Casey, you can come in again tomorrow, and we will talk about Lamar Jackson.
We'll continue on. Look, the way I look at it with Nick Sirianni is last year there was no pressure. We were calling for his head week 3, week 4. He did the smart thing. At some point, he gave up the play calling duties, which showed some very good maturity and leadership as a coach. It kind of skated under the radar. It wasn't a big deal talked about in the media. I think that shows something. But as year 2, you look at it, I saw someone comparing, the jump that Carson Wentz took from 2016 to 2017. But then I kind of wanted to look at what Doug Peterson did. He was an inexperienced, not really the first choice kind of coach in 2016, kind of semi beat expectations. And then in year 2, Doug Peterson took that big leap as well. So Nick Sirianni needs to take a big leap leading this team this year. He can't let the players' heads look. A lot of the players are talking all-star type team, Pro Bowl team, dream team type, phrases. It's on Nick Sirianni to control that this year. And I think there is a lot of pressure on Nick Sirianni to do well, and Hurts' success correlates with how Nick Sirianni runs his team through camp in the first few weeks of the season. Guys?
I was like Jason. I've been going first the whole time.
Is there a scenario like I know we've talked about, how the Eagles' schedule early in the year is easy.
It is.
Is there a scenario where they come out and they flop early and the pressure's on and people are? I hate to think that way, and I know it's such a Negadelphia type thought, but we've seen times where we've had our expectations so high. I mean, I look only to the Phillies this year. I thought the Phillies were going to have 92 wins, and
I said 95.
Hit that.
Oh.
But I know we tend to get our hopes up and our expectations high, and once again, there's the whole. Dude, it's such a volatile subject. You're right. It's like we always go back to Hurts, regardless of the conversation.
No matter what, I keep trying to steer here, and then we just keep kind of sliding back this way.
Because I try not to. I'm trying to avoid it, and it still comes up because it's like everything about this team's growth kind of rests on Hurts. I mean, if you really look at it that way.
Look. I mean, we'll get into the Washington Commanders, the Giants, the Cowboys later in this.
The Giants aren't winning anything. The Giants are going to suck. I'm just letting you know, Blue City Empire.
I don't know. I'm not sleeping on the Giants this year. I'm not sleeping on the Commanders this year. And hell, you can't sleep on the Cowboys either.
Wake me up whenever, Phil. I don't
ever sleep on division rivals.
I'm not saying to beat us, but I'm saying about making the playoffs. I can guarantee you the Giants are not going to make the playoffs.
Oh, I didn't say they're going to make the playoffs.
Oh.
I think the Giants
are a sleeper good team.
Giants are going to take a giant leap forward because of 3 reasons. I think Saquon Barkley will be healthy. I think they went out and they have a good coach finally, and their GM that they brought in actually had a good draft. I mean, if you look at
they didn't do typical Giants things. They
still have a completely bum quarterback.
Absolutely,
a horrendous quarterback. Like we want to bash Jalen Hurts.
How many games did they win last year? The Giants 4,
I think.
Yeah,
I think the most they've won with Daniel Jones is 6.
Yeah, this it could easily be a 6 to 8 win team, the Giants, which would be an improvement over last year.
I don't know what you mean by don't sleep on them. Like 6.
Well, don't assume that they're going to be an easy. Like, don't just look at the schedule. All right, we got 2 games against the Giants. Oh, that's easy. 2-0.
No, I mean, I will never. Okay,
harder fighting team
for the Eagles. Then no, Daniel Jones can't surprise. Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
I don't disagree.
You're gonna sit there and bash Lamar Jackson, but you're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, Daniel Jones could surprise." Get the hell out of here! What are you talking about? Jesus,
I've never seen this emotion from him. I love it.
What is going on? Okay, exactly. That's not a surprise. I believe. Okay, Gable's fine, but how are we gonna?
Daniel Jones has never had a real coach in New York. That's all I'm going to say. Look, I didn't want to make the – why are we talking about Daniel Jones?
The coach is not the one fumbling the ball 27 times.
Man,
No, but I'm talking about how with Daniel Jones, it could surprise, but then we're going to sit there and bash Lamar Jackson for okay, that has nothing.
Cole's ready to have a stroke.
Yeah. All right.
We got to calm down.
Woo!
Cole's ready to.
Lord, I don't even know where to start. Did you guys lost to Daniel Jones last year? We lost to the Giants when they put up 13 points. So I wouldn't say we lost to Daniel Jones. And Jalen Reagor lost the game.
Jason, what should we talk about? Like, what do I do now at this point? I don't even know.
God, I don't even know where to start.
All right, look. Let's wrap this.
Back to the. I think the bottom line is, your original question is there as much pressure on the coaches to improve as there is on Jalen Hurts? And I think the answer is absolutely yes. Because for me, if Jalen Hurts is going to succeed, it's going to be up to the coaching staff just as much as it will be Jalen Hurts.
Is there a theory or a thread to talk about that if Jalen Hurts fails this year, that not only do we need to look and talk about – yeah, good morning. Scotty, if you just checked in, man, you're missing a shit show here. Is there a theory that if Jalen Hurts fails this year, that not only are we looking at what the quarterback situation will be like in 2023, but also the coaching staff? Because if this team fails, it fails because Jalen Hurts is not the guy. It fails because Nick Sirianni is not the guy. Is there a thread to be had there that both guys, not just Jalen Hurts, is under the microscope for the future this year?
Yes. I believe so.
Yes.
I believe that your coach is always somehow tied to the quarterback, even though Jalen Hurts was here before Nick Sirianni even got here.
Yes, he did.
I think
it wasn't you.
They're always attached at the hip. So if Jalen doesn't succeed, yes, probably odds are Sirianni will be on the hot seat.
At least the hot seat, the question marks.
All
right, Cole, any final thoughts there? Not on Lamar Jackson, not on Daniel Jones. On the Eagles.
Trey Lance is going to lead the 49ers to the playoffs. So I'll get back.
That's even worse than saying Daniel Jones or Lamar Jackson or anything else.
Okay, not necessarily play, but he's going to be a lot better than people think, and I don't understand where the hate for Trey Lance comes from.
I don't understand where the support for Trey Lance comes from.
Because did you watch anything? Did you watch him at all when he played last year? Did you watch?
He barely played other than like a couple.
Yeah. Okay. Did you watch him at all? And he was the number 3 overall pick for a reason. I mean,
yeah, because people overdraft quarterbacks. He should. This whole show, we're going to change the name to triggering.
Yeah,
triggering Cole.
I am going all 8 snaps that he played last year. That's exact. I actually thought. Sorry, I thought he had 7 snaps. My bad.
It's just.
This is funny because I actually agree with Cole. This is the second agreement that we have.
Oh my
God. I think Trey Lance.
I start getting double teamed by the two of you. You're both kicked off the show. I'm going to find 2 other people.
All right, me and George.
I think Trey Lance, to Scotty's point, because you just had the comment up there, I think Trey Lance is an unknown.
That's all it is. There's a lot of.
It's an unknown. It's not that people necessarily hate the guy or whatever.
No, but my thing is
the same thing.
We had last year Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, do we really think Trey Lance is going to be worse than Jimmy Garoppolo was?
Nope.
No, you don't. So then how
There's
can
people that want Jimmy Garoppolo in Eagles midnight green?
No, absolutely not. Oh my God! Trey Lance will be fine. Thank you. That's another thing. He's got Kyle Shanahan as coach. We've seen what the 49ers have been able to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. They've gotten a Super Bowl and the NFC title in 2 of the last 3 years. They haven't got much worse, if worse at all, from last season. Where do we see the drop off to where now they're not a playoff team? Where do we see the drop off in? No, that's fine. I agree with you. I agree with you, George, on that one. Where do we see the drop off from last season with Jimmy Garoppolo to now adding Trey Lance in?
It literally only comes down to what you've got with Jimmy Garoppolo. You don't know what you got with Trey Lance. That's all there is to it.
But you literally just said that
is a game manager.
Exactly.
Trey Lance has a higher ceiling and a higher floor. Like Trey Lance will be a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. When it's said and done, Cole is right. I don't think
we hope.
I don't think Trey Lance will necessarily be a Pat Mahomes type level or one of those guys.
No, I'm not saying that.
No,
I think
I know you're not.
Quarterback.
I know you're not. I think he'll be a decent quarterback in the
NFL. I will end the Trey Lance on one thing. I won't lie. I'm a bit biased when it comes to the 49ers. I brought up in a house you were trained to cheer for 4 teams: the Eagles, the Sixers, the Phillies, and the Flyers. My one brother randomly became a 49ers fan. And he's like, oh, well, the Eagles stunk and Joe Montana and Jerry Rice were there. So I became a 49ers fan. And my brother he's one of those guys that he's only a 49ers fan when they're good. So I love to ride with my brother. I'm like, oh, did you watch that 49ers loss? Oh, no, I was busy. I work. Well, a real fan watches them in their good times and their bad times. So I'm always rooting for the 49ers to fail just because I only hear my brother talk about the 49ers when they're playing for a Super Bowl title. And I don't want to see him do good. I'd rather rag on my brother for, the 49ers stinking and him and his fake fandom. So, yeah, that there is that little partialness there, with the 49ers for me. So
that's clearly what you did. You forgot to it wasn't okay. George was the straw that broke the camel's back on the Lamar thing. I've been seeing stuff all the time on Lamar, all the time. And it just boggles my mind.
Look,
how people
today's the first practice. We're going to talk so much more Eagles tomorrow. We don't have an hour cutoff tomorrow on the show because I don't have to work tomorrow. So we're going to continue all this conversation tomorrow for sure. We are. Look, it's because he's youthful, George. Kids, they don't know how to control their emotions. They don't.
Oh, please.
They don't.
Oh,
they think they're right on everything. They don't have our veteran experience.
Oh my God. Know. Shut up, old man. Let's calm down there, buddy.
Oh, man. All right. Dude, guys, I know we've been talking Eagles. I want to talk the last 10 minutes of Phillies. I do want to talk a little Phillies here today. They lost last night, so now they're 1-1 in this series against the Braves. And it's tired for the Phillies. They've been sucking. Look, we still got a long time to go till Bryce Harper's back. Segura started last night in a rehab assignment, so maybe he's back in the next week or two. I think we need to mess with the lineup a little bit. One more time here. And I've got an idea, guys. I want to know if you guys think I'm crazy. And again, messing with the lineup only works if you leave it be for more than 1 or 2 games. They messed with Matt Vierling in the leadoff spot for 2 games, and then it kind of they stopped it right away. They didn't give it a chance to. I see you laughing at the comments. I don't even know what they are.
I agree with George on this one. See you, George. Have a good day.
Oh, man. Real quick. Lineup that I want to see tonight for the Phillies. Batting leadoff, Bryson Stott. In the 2-hole, Rhys Hoskins. Bohm in the 3-hole. Then you followed up with Schwarber, Hall, JT, Castellanos in the 7-hole, DD8, Vierling 9. Now you can flip-flop Bohm 1, Stott 3 even. Thoughts on this, guys? As a bold way to shake it up, you get Castellanos down, you shake things up, but you've got to give it more than
Stott
1 day.
3. Oh, my Stott 3. That's a little. I mean, listen, I love Bryson Stott, and I would love, Phil, I mean, you're talking about a guy, I'm pretty sure, is he still hitting under 200?
He is at 195 right now. He's gotten it up.
I understand he's improving on it, but I just don't think you can put a guy who's hitting under 200 at the 1 or a 3.
I'm trying to come up with a way to jumpstart this team.
I understand that.
Can I say something?
I would rather have him at the 1 than the 3, though. I like you that you put him at the 1 compared to the 3.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a way to jumpstart this team till Harper's back, till Dave Dombrowski comes out of his closet and makes a trade. I'm trying to find a way to jumpstart the offense. And this is what I came up with. Jason, what are your thoughts?
My thought is, what do you got to lose? You're on it. Your team is on a trend down. Mm-hmm. You're trending down, and what would it hurt? Like, you're not getting production with the lineup you have. So to me, I'm all about bold moves. I think Bryson Stott, he's a very talented young player, and
He's gaining a boatload of confidence right now.
Honestly, I think if you put him at the top of the lineup as opposed to where he's at the bottom, you might see a spike in his average because I think he'll start getting pitches better and he'll start kind of seeing pitches better. I love Alec Bohm in the 3-hole because I think right now he's your best hitter. I mean, he's hit close to 290 now.
He last night got over 290.
I don't know. I don't know what other moves you can make at this point that are going to really get this team turned around because we see the flaw. It's almost like you have to shock the system. Mm-hmm. Like they need something to happen, like a game where they like come back from like losing 5-0 or so. They need some like big.
Well, they did that against the Braves with the Stott home run.
Well, they need another one.
Stott is the one that sparked them. Look, what you need to shock the system. You need to shock Nick. You had Castellanos in that 3-4 hole all year. What you think bumping him down to the 5 hole is sending a message to him that he's got to get out of his slump or else? Bump him down to the 7-8 hole.
I would sit him.
That's where your worst hitters go.
I would sit him.
Who you putting out there, though? That's the question. Who are you putting out there? Mickey Moniak?
Exactly.
I would bench Castellanos.
But who are you putting out there? Mickey Moniak?
I wouldn't care. I'll bring up the shittiest. I don't care at this. Bench him to piss him off. I would bench him.
I get what you're saying. I agree. That's why I said 7.
I would bench him because I think
you got to piss him off.
You've done everything in your power. You've been more than patient with the guy. I would say at this point, I'm not saying he's like being insubordinate, but he's obviously not coming out of this slump. And he obviously isn't doing anything to get better. So I would just say, dude, you're taking a bench for 3 days. I don't care who's playing. I could care less. Bring up a guy from minor leagues. Let Moniak play. Just to like get Castellanos to the point where he's like, oh my God, I got benched. Like, dude, something that has to happen in his mind because he's obviously not. I know that a lot of people like, and listen, I think that reporter, I'm forgetting his name. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name.
Which one? Salisbury?
Salisbury. I can't believe
Which one?
I think he was off base and out of line the way he kind of phrased that. But at the end of the day, Castellanos as an athlete getting paid what he's getting paid should have answered that in a different way. I mean, you have to be humble. Bryce Harper last year when he was getting criticized, he was like, you know what? I suck.
Yeah.
That was Bryce Harper. And that's the difference between a guy like Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos.
I don't know.
It's all about being humble and recognizing the fact that, yeah, I'm really shitting the bed right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Look, I got one more bold shock the system thought. All right. And it's completely insane.
Yeah, I will walk off if it's some ridiculous thing. So I will walk off.
You might be. I mean, because I've been talking about it on Twitter.
Like it.
DD needs to be gone, and you've got someone sitting that in the last 2 weeks might have found something. Why not capitalize on it while he's hot? Scott Kingery is hitting 290 in AAA over the last 2 weeks.
I like that. No, never mind. I like
Bring
that.
Scott Kingery up. Put him in your 8-hole. He could play shortstop. When Gene Segura comes back, you can move Stott to from second to third. You can put Scott Kingery back in center field.
Or, you can put Scott Kingery at second and move Scott Kingery to play everything but first base.
Yeah, basically. I mean, anybody that can play as many positions as Kingery.
Scott Kingery played center field last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he can play second, short, third, right field, left field.
You got to just pick one position for Scott Kingery, stick him there, and just leave him there. Because his struggle started when he was playing a different position every day. Shock the system and bring in Scott Kingery. Right? Don't wait till the slump or the streak ends to bring him up.
Right.
Bring him up now while he's swinging a good bat. His confidence is highest it's been since 2 years ago or 3 years ago in spring training when he got his big deal. His confidence has never been this high.
Jetpacks, baby. Let's go.
Bring him up. Why not? What's Didi Gregorius doing for you right now?
Nothing.
Having the awesome walk-up song. That's about it.
What's his walk-up song? I couldn't even tell you.
Notorious by B.I.G.
Oh, is he Gregorius? Yeah. I always think of Bobby Roode. Glorious. Any wrestling fans out there? It sounds like
I know a wrestler.
It sounds like Bobby Roode.
Oh, I know it's coming.
Yeah. Who do you know? Yeah. Love it.
Anytime that's convenient, I'm popping that up, Phil.
I delete stuff from the back back office there, but I don't delete that because there's no way.
Because that just needs to be put up every once in a while.
That's an all-timer. That's definitely an all-timer. When I saw that, I was at work, and I happened to be cheating and watching the show.
Did I say Kevin? I said Steve Nash. Or I don't even remember.
You were talking about Steve Nash, and you called him Kevin Nash, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I knew I did something. There you go. The glorious Bobby Roode. If you Google search it sounds exactly like DD's music. So, yes, absolutely. Look, the Phillies need a shot. They're not out of it. They're going to get Harper back hopefully soon. They're going to get Segura back hopefully. Hopefully Dombrowski does something eventually here.
When is the trade deadline in relation to today?
August 2nd.
Tuesday.
I don't even know.
It's next
Tuesday.
week.
Less than a
Next
week.
Tuesday.
No, this coming Tuesday.
Dude, it's that close?
Yes,
Yep.
it's August. It is really soon. Look, there is a thought process I've had for a very long time. You get the best deals at the trade deadline in the weeks leading up to the trade deadline if you strike first. If you wait till Tuesday at 2:30 to start making your calls, then you're under pressure. The other teams know that. You go make a bold move now because A, you get a player in here a week sooner, but B, you might be able to get a better deal now. If Montas goes first,
I want to hear breaking news.
Goes up. What's that?
I said I want to hear breaking news that Luis Castillo's a Philly. That's my.
I agree with KC though. I don't see him making big moves. I see maybe one or two minor moves, which will be
sucks.
Major disappointing. Yeah, it will be a major.
I will be absolutely pissed.
Yeah. Better deals happen before the deadline. That's what I'm trying to get at right now. That's why I want the Phillies to be making moves now. Because also, at this point, guess what? In a couple days, do you know what's going to happen with the Phillies guys in a couple days? Because Dombrowski's making no moves?
What?
Bradley Falter's going to have to start again soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle Gibson's going to have to start again. Yeah.
I mean, he's probably going to start. I don't really think they're going to do anything with him.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what it is. Look, it's going to be – I really agree with Casey. I think we're all going to be seriously disappointed by the trade deadline. If we get another Kyle Gibson level guy, that's the biggest that I think. David Dombrowski has been so quiet lately that I just think that's the way it goes.
Hey, the best moves are made in silence.
Do we have any arms? You could take Bradley Falter. I'll drive him up to Toronto. I think I could get across the border. I'm not sure.
I have my passport. I just renewed my passport. Literally,
Bradley Falter wasn't allowed to go to Toronto either.
Let's trade Aaron Nola for one of your sluggers.
No, or don't trade Aaron Nola. How about we don't? I don't
just
like that
teasing.
Well, how about this? We'll give you Kyle Gibson and Zach Eflin for Vladdy. I think that's a fair trade. No. Jerry's familiar. I forgot. We got to give you the stud.
Yeah. We'll give Jesus Familiar. Jesus, whatever his name is.
And if you really, if you just need a little bit more, I heard there's a guy. His name's Adubel Herrera.
Yeah.
He really knows how to hit. So we'll throw him in there.
We'll give you all the guys that can't come and play in Toronto because of their back situation. Yeah. Pass
Kyle Gibson, Nola. Oh, I get your joke now. Jason, I'm sorry. I missed
for what?
For the Nola. You said we'll give you Aaron Nola.
No, you're okay, dude.
No.
I love you, Cole. You're in rare form today, bro.
This
made my day.
A very interesting.
Made my day, man.
We had a thread, and then the thread just kind of went out into nowhere and everything.
Threads are going to keep bouncing around. It's football season, baby.
Dude, it's football season. And every conversation, no matter what I bring up football-wise,
is going to be
circle back to Jalen Hurts.
If you guys do Lamar Jackson tomorrow, I want the replay.
Yeah.
Sent to my phone.
I don't know. Jalen Hurts might come up again tomorrow, which means Lamar Jackson may come up tomorrow, which means Trey Lance may come up again tomorrow.
The trifecta.
I know.
Well, I mean,
who else? Who's the other? Hey, why don't we throw Justin Fields into the conversation too? If we're going to talk,
I'm low on Justin Fields.
You're low on Justin Fields.
I'll rip Justin Fields. I hate Justin Fields. He played at Ohio State.
Yeah. No Ohio State quarterback ever has been successful.
No, I don't care about that. I think that that's a ridiculous, bogus thing to look off of where you played in college. You know how high that's. I don't ever use that. What?
I said you can.
You want to know why that is for the most part? Because Ohio State quarterbacks get drafted high to bad franchises who don't know how to develop players.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely
great. I'll take 2 over Fields.
Dude, we got
No, it's warranted. He played at Ohio State. I'm a Penn State fan. I hate Justin Fields. All right, it's warranted.
All right. We're gonna wrap this up for the day. Trending in the AM. Again, if you're watching on YouTube now or on replay, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button, please. I greatly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. Cole will be back tomorrow. Dylan will be jumping in tomorrow.
I will.
We'll be talking practice. I want to set the line right now, Cole. Over under 4.5 times that I say we're talking practice. I'm setting the line at 4.5 times.
I mean, I'm going to hit the over, but I would prefer it be the under.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm smashing the over.
Yeah, you got to smash that over. You take the plus, the minus 230, and you take the over on that. Easy tomorrow. So we'll be back tomorrow, guys. Again, thank you, everybody. Make sure you're following DSM Media on all platforms and our guys here. Jason Voorhees at Mustang361. Cole, intern Cole, at ColePT628. Myself, Beard of Knowledge. Yo, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. And let's go Birds, baby.
Go Birds. Fly Eagles.